Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about Greek mythology, one of my favorite topics. We're going to do a fun little project on Greek mythology after today. I'll move my face. Um, so we're still working on that learning target that we're going to be able to identify and describe the important people of ancient Greece. Back there, that is Zeus, and he is the king of the gods. We are not going to get through. There are so many gods and goddesses and monsters and fairies and nymphs and all kinds of things in Greek mythology, and we will not be able to touch on most of it. But we're going to talk about mainly the 12 gods and goddesses that live on Mount Olympus. And here we go. So the Greeks believed in many gods and goddesses. They told myths about their gods, which are traditional stories. They told them about gods or heroes, and a lot of them were written down in books. And those books were by a man named Homer, and he wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey, and that's where they kept a lot of their stories. It's where they kept that one that I told you the other day about Achilles, that was kept in there. So myths told stories of how gods controlled nature, were perfect, and were often like humans with special powers. A lot of the myths that they told tried to explain certain things. I know we've been listening to some podcasts in class, and one of them that we listened to in one of the classes the other day was about Arachne, and it's basically a creation myth they told to explain spiders and how they spin their webs. So this isn't just unique to this culture. It's happened in a lot of other cultures where they have told myths to try to explain things that they've never been able, they don't know, understand, or can explain. So they tell myths to explain those things. So every city built beautiful temples to make the gods happy because happy gods would not hurt the city. We know that that the big Parthenon that is still mostly standing in Athens on the Acropolis, that was built for Athena. At one time, it had a huge statue of Athena that was made out of gold and ivory. Another statue in another temple made of Zeus was one of the seven wonders of the world that was made of gold and ivory. The most important gods and goddesses, there are 12 of them, lived on Mount Olympus, and that's in the background back there. It is the highest mountain in Greece. They lived above the clouds where no one could see them, and mortals did not try to climb the mountain, I'm assuming because they would, not be able to go back in there with the gods. The Greeks also believed in an afterlife. They believed that the spirits of the dead lived beneath the earth and were ruled by Hades. They called that the underworld. To get to the underworld, you had to have died, and you have to meet a person who takes you over on a ferry. They cross a river called Styx, which I told you about the other day when we talked about Achilles. Once they get into the underworld, it's guarded by a three-headed dog called Cerberus. You cannot get into the underworld unless you are dead because Cerberus will stop you. But once you go into the underworld, it's again, it's not like heaven or hell. It's just the place you go where you die. Good, bad, you go there with Hades. That's the ruins of a temple. And that is the ferry that would take you over the river Styx. So the Greeks believed that everyone had a fate or destiny, and the people, or what could tell you that destiny, were oracles. They thought the gods made prophecies, which are like predictions, to help the people plan for the future. And that if you wanted to know this future or listen to advice, you visited an oracle. An oracle is a holy shrine where a priest or priestess could actually talk to the gods or goddesses to get these prophecies to give to you. And I know a lot of you have read Percy Jackson. And that whole quest that he goes on is because of a prophecy that was told to him by an oracle. And so he goes on his quest. The most famous oracle of the time was at the Temple of Delphi, which is what you see in the background. That's what's left of it. And people traveled there all the time. Delphi was a city-state. They would travel there to talk to this priest or priestess to get prophecies about things that they wanted to know about. I'll move that so my face isn't covering the statue all the way. All right. Sticky face again. Okay. Many writers have copied ideas from the Greeks' poems and stories, which are the oldest in the Western world. There you go. I'm trying to move my face again. There we go. The oldest Greek stories were called epics. Epics are long poems about heroic deeds, and that's what's written in the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer. And so these stories are collected, and if you ever study mythology in college, they'll make you read these books. They're still in print today. Homer's poems taught the value of friendship. And then around 550 BC, a Greek slave named Aesop made up fables or short tales that teach a lesson. We still read these books to kids today. The most famous is a story called The Tortoise and the Hare of his. In some fables, animals talk and connect like people. One of the best known fables, like I just told you, is The Tortoise and the Hare. The tortoise and the hare go race. Everybody believes that the hare is going to win because he's so fast and the tortoise is so slow. But the hare kind of messes around on the way because he thinks he's got this in the bag. And it turns out he messed around a little too much because the turtle ends up winning. And it teaches you all of his fables teaches morals or lessons to pass on to your kids. And the lesson here is slow and steady wins the race. So keep going. Don't stop. Even if you're slower, you can win. Keep clicking the wrong thing. That's a picture of from Amazon. You can buy Aesop's Fables right now. And I know we have it in the library. So if you're interested in reading more about his little stories, you can get it from the library. This is a collection or story of Greek myths that I'm going to play for you. I'm going to attach it in Google Classroom. The most important gods and goddesses that you need to know about on top of Mount Olympus are Hera. She's the wife of Zeus. Zeus is the king of the gods, and it all comes from his parents. His father, actually, his name was Kronos. He was a Titan. The first immortal beings on Earth were the Titans, and they were from the father of Uranus and the mother Gaia, who is the Earth Mother, the one that we kind of talked about when we talked about Minoans and Mycenaeans. Same goddess. She has the Titans. The Titans are immortal and basically not doing real well. They have children. Kronos is the dad, and he has children, and he eats them. I'm not kidding. Zeus rescues his brothers and sisters, and so they make him king of the gods. The Titans are sent down to Tartarus and basically chained up because you can't kill immortals. And so, moving on, Zeus is made the king of the gods. He's the god of lightning, sky, and rain, and he could shapeshift to look like any person. He has lots of what do you call the half breeds? That's what they call them in a lot of the books, or demigods, half human, half immortal gods, because he's a ladies' man. He likes to have a lot of girlfriends, but he is married to Hera. Hera's his wife. She's the queen of all gods, and she is the goddess of marriage. We already talked about Hades, who rules the underworld. Athena, we know, is the goddess of wisdom and knowledge, and she is the patron of Athens. Artemis lives on Mount Olympus. She is the goddess of the hunt and moon. And her twin is Apollo, and he's the god of sun and light and music. And some stories say that Helios is the same as Apollo, but he drives his chariot across the sky every day to make sure the sun rises. Then there's Ares. He's the goddess of war. Greeks would pray to him before battle, not when you want to cross. Hephaestus is said to be the ugliest of all the gods, which is funny because he actually marries Aphrodite, who is the goddess of love and beauty. She's the most beautiful goddess, and Hephaestus is the most ugly. But Hephaestus is the god of forges and fire, and he's the one that can build all the powerful weapons for the gods. He has lots of items and tools and weapons for all the gods. Hermes is the messenger. He's always the one that's shown with the wings on the shoes, and he flies messages between all the gods and goddesses. He's basically like the email of the ancient world. Hestia is the goddess of home, and women would pray to her for their children's safety and their family's safety and to watch over them. And last but not least is Poseidon. He's the god of the seas. He's the one that's shown with the trident. He is the one that features prominently in Percy Jackson, which I keep referencing because I know a lot of you read it. He is the one that has Percy's. Maybe I shouldn't tell you because you haven't read the book yet. I don't want to give it away. But anyway, so he features pretty prominently in the book, along with Zeus and Hades are pretty prominent gods in the book. So those are the 12 gods and goddesses that live in Mount Olympus. There are way many more gods, demigods, monsters, and you're going to get a chance to kind of research some that you might be interested in because we're going to do a little project. You're going to be making some Greek mythology trading cards, and you can choose any 6 gods or goddesses that you would like, and the directions are going to be posted in Google Classroom. But you can choose any 6, I believe it's 6 gods and goddesses that you would like. You're going to find information about them, and you're going to put facts on the back like you would a trading card, and then you're going to put their picture on the front. They have to have 3 facts about your character. Some ideas could be like where your character comes from, what are their extraordinary qualities or abilities, do they have any talents, things like that. And then on the front, you need to have an illustration of your god, goddess, hero, or creature. Like I said, hero, because there's lots of heroes like Perseus and Achilles that are in mythology, and I will definitely have links for you guys for that. And then you need to have a colorful background or a colorful border that goes around your thing. This is going to be done on index cards, so make sure you have index cards. All right, we'll be working on that for a couple of days in class. And if you have any questions, let me know. But this will be linked in Google Classroom. All right, have a great rest of your day.